You know, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting different results. You saw the video earlier today, and if you haven't, I encourage you to check it out. I discussed my frustrations with Jesse Puljujarvi trade rumors, and of course, that is the perfect definition because what do we come right back to the well for tonight? Jesse Puljujarvi trade rumors. Now, obviously, that video this morning was more or less just to be meant to be a splash that I'm back, and the fact that, you know what, yes, I am frustrated with the Jesse Puljujarvi situation because it's always talk, no action. However, my friends, you know what, I did neglect to actually pay attention and maybe ask those around me who have been present in the space for the past week, what's up? And of course, Patrick with the Oilers Fanatic fills me in the afternoon as we're chatting about the Oilers as we usually do on a Saturday. Hey, you know, Frank Saravelli did mention today that, or yesterday or some time ago, that the Oilers do potentially have a deal in place for Jesse Puljujarvi. I said, oh, well, that makes me look like a fool, doesn't it? But that does not change my frustration because nothing is guaranteed until it's done. The other news today is, of course, Jakob Chychrun, which we will get to in a matter of moments, friends. But let's get the housekeeping notes done. If you're new to the channel, I want you to take this moment, all right? Take this moment to let me ask you to consider hitting that subscribe button. We are right up there against that 10-4 right now. 10,400 of us crazy Oilers fans. We're at 10,399 last I checked this afternoon. And as I'm sitting down here this evening to record this video, I implore you to, if you want to chat for more Oilers stuff, consider sticking around. And as well, if you're enjoying the video at any time, leave me a like, let me know, and hey, let's get on with it, right? So yes, Puljujarvi, we'll talk about that in the back half, because I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about the sudden shift in the Oilers landscape around one Jakob Chychrun, right? This is fun and dandy, because for the Oilers, Jakob Chychrun has always been a target this season. He's got a contract year coming up next year, but he's always been a target for one primary reason. Now, of course, this year the focus for the Oilers is somehow letting Darnell Nurse a few more minutes of rest every single night. And with that, you need to find a guy very capable of playing at an elite level the moments he's on the ice, because he's taking minutes from the guy that munches minutes for you. Whether Darnell Nurse does a perfect job with that or not, that is neither here nor there. It is a matter of you need somebody to offset Darnell Nurse on the left side. Obviously, if we still had a healthy Oscar Klefbom around, a veteran, matured Oscar Klefbom for that matter, you might be talking about a different situation for the Oilers, but unfortunately you're not. You're talking about having to find a guy like Jakob Chychrun to replace what you are missing technically because of Oscar Klefbom being on the LTIR, despite Oscar Klefbom being done with hockey 2-3 years ago at this point. So, where we sit right now is a couple of days ago, Bob Stauffer mentioned, hey, the Oilers are taking a closer look than we think at Jakob Chychrun. And that has sent Oilers fandom into a frenzy because last weekend, I think it was it was Saturday last week, exactly a week ago, we mentioned here on Dolynny TV it was a race between Patrick and I to get the video up prior to the game starting on Saturday night last week about Nick Bjugstad, right? A guy that all of a sudden is having this huge year and I think only costs like $900K. So now you think about the Oilers revisiting Jakob Chychrun or focusing more heavily on Jakob Chychrun, and suddenly the pieces start fitting a little bit here. And that's the fun part about all this for us Oilers fans, is now it's not just Chychrun, right? We're not just giving up all these assets we've been rumored to have to give up for Chychrun if you want Chychrun alone. Now there's something more to the puzzle. And this is where it gets really interesting for the Oilers, is because now Arizona has to add something to the package that the Oilers want as well, but the salary becomes too much for any other team in the Oilers situation, and I mean to an extent for the Oilers as well. And this is where we may very well touch on Jesse Puljujarvi for the simple reason of salary, right? Earlier in the season, every time I brought up Jakob Chychrun, I said it's a no-doubter, you trade out Barrie, because I think Chychrun's somewhere in that 4 range, Barrie's at 4.5, so it was an easy swap. You give up a first, you give up a prospect, goodbye, you add Jakob Chychrun, and still, to some extent, moving a piece off the right side is the right move, but salary is no longer a place where Tyson Barrie can help, because Tyson Barrie helps you too much on the right side of this Oilers team, obviously with, 40 points or something like that on the season now. You ain't giving that up midway through the year when your right side doesn't produce points the way that most other NHL right sides do. So, right, you add Jakob Chychrun on the left side, move Brett Kulak down, you move Philip Broberg over to the right side, and you move out Evan Bouchard potentially, right? You give them a young stud D-man or supposed stud D-man, whatever camp you fall into with Evan Bouchard. I love Bouch. I love the man, right? Like, Bouch dad, right? That guy is my guy. That's I fought tooth and nail for him when we selected him over Dobson, and that was the really start of the development of Dolynny TV. But I love Evan Bouchard. Unfortunately, though, when it comes down to the demands from the Arizona Coyotes, it's some kind of big piece and obviously 2 first-round picks. Now, right, that big piece, more than likely a prospect, which you give up Raph Lavoie, you give up Carter Savoy, you give up Ty Tullio, you give up Xavier Borgo. One of those 4 guys, you probably have the basis of the package. However, I do not want to give up any of those 4 guys, so I instead propose, and you got to make salary work somehow, and that's where this gets really tight for the Oilers, is if you're adding to this defense, and this is where I guess what camp you fall in with how comfortable we are with these D-men, is the potential to move a guy like Evan Bouchard, bring up Vinny Desharnais, and then while you bring in Jakob Chychrun, well, now you can kind of shuffle Philip Broberg to the right side. You allow him to play with Kulak. Vinny Desharnais remains your 7th defender. Whatever the heck you need to do to make that puzzle fit, I'm okay with if you move Evan Bouchard on the blue line. I really don't see how you move anyone because obviously Brett Kulak just signed that 4-year deal. And again, if you added Jakob Chychrun, Brett Kulak is overpaid for a third-line D-pairing role, but more effective in that role and a great safety blanket if Nurse or Chychrun go down and he needs to be elevated. So that's my argument on the blue line. Obviously, Jesse Puljujarvi needs to be moved out, which would be a matter of fact for the Oilers, which you could do in this trade very easily. And that offsets one of those 2 first-rounders, right? Is you don't have to look at a first-rounder in value of just a pick. You don't. Do you? I don't think you do. So that's where you can move a guy like Jesse Puljujarvi. You move Evan Bouchard, that's your 2 first-round picks. You still need to move salary. So if you're giving up players of Puljujarvi and Bouchard's momentum and you give up a guy like Warren Foegele, sure, why not? We're not giving up Dylan Holloway, I can promise you that. But you give up Warren Foegele. Okay, now you've got the salary package that allows you to escape the hell we're in, and you kind of start basing a really nice little package together. You add a first-round pick, and you know what? In that package, I am completely fine and dandy with things. I have no concerns about moving a guy like Jakob Chychrun and Nick Bjugstad into the organization for that entire package. Now, it sounds cliche, right? Let's get rid of our trouble guys all in one package, give up a first rounder to make it happen, let Arizona eat some salary. If they want another pick for that, we can give it to them, and away you go. Fantasy Island. But the Oilers have a trade in place, according to Frank Saravelli. Bob Stauffer is telling us the Oilers are looking closely at Jakob Chychrun. If you follow Twitter conspiracy theories about the Oilers, you would know that apparently Jakob Chychrun unfollowed the Arizona Coyotes last week. Again, my details are foggy. Somewhere in there. I read it and I don't have the details fully, but he's unfollowed the Arizona Coyotes, and Connor McDavid has suddenly followed Jakob Chychrun on Twitter. So, just excuse me a moment as we try to put those pieces together. But you get where I'm going, right? Is obviously there's a lot of potential for a one-and-done solution here. That's what I'm saying. But at the same rate, too, you saw the title, big, grabby headline, because that's what you're supposed to do in news in 2023. I'm not stupid. I want views. I need to eat. You need to eat. We all need to eat. And the only way to eat is to have money and put food on your table, and that's what I'm doing. But you get where I'm going, right? Big, massive deals for the Oilers, because no matter what, at the end of the day, and this is where we're transitioning to the Jesse Puljujarvi talk that I know I don't want to do, but we got to do it anyway, is if the Oilers have just a deal in place for Jesse Puljujarvi, not a deal in place for Puljujarvi to go and Chychrun to come in all in one, done in solution, is the Jesse Puljujarvi trade is going to be massive no matter what. Because what the Oilers get out of that return is going to be headlines for months on end going into the offseason and everything. Okay? Good. What the Oilers might have to give up to make a Jesse Puljujarvi trade happen is another topic. But Jakob Chychrun as well, I mean, that's a headline grabber for the day. That is a Bo Horvat-esque trade, right? And I think not necessarily because it's Bo Horvat-style caliber player. Jakob Chychrun's a huge name, but he plays in Arizona. If he played elsewhere and he was getting moved, the appeal would be way more magnified. However, for the Oilers on your end of receiving the player of that magnitude, that's what's going to make this trade a headline grabber. It might not steal all the attention in the NHL, but it is going to suffocate anything else related to the Edmonton Oilers that day. I could post the deal for Jakob Chychrun if and when it happens that morning at 8, and I could post a video at midnight that same day, midnight 11:59, same day, whatever you want to say, and that video would not get the views it should because that Jakob Chychrun video is still going like this, simply put. So that's where it's really interesting here for the Oilers is there are two massive things apparently on the table. And again, right, is mock me for being late to this party all you want. I wanted to clarify one thing about talking about Jesse Puljujarvi that I'm frustrated about in the video earlier. As I said in the video, I know it's going to get views. It's got 1,900 at the point that I'm posting this video. So, I mean, it's not Oilers fanatic numbers, but that's what happens when you get hot on YouTube, and Patrick is killing it, and maybe potentially why you're watching tonight's video here. I could have very easily just hopped on the PlayStation, played some NHL 23, and just chilled out for a Saturday night after working 19-hour days for 5 days straight. But guess what? I didn't. I didn't because I want a piece of the action that Patrick's got going on over there on the Oilers Fanatic. Let me tell you, I love to see views like that in the Oilers community. That is what I live for, and tonight I want some of that. So I hope you liked my take on it. I hope you enjoyed things here tonight, and obviously too, that's why we are grabbing with this big, massive, shouty title, my friends. And maybe a little bit of why the bling's on the neck as well tonight. Just a little bit show for the evening. You have a great rest of your Saturday night. Sucks there's no hockey night in Canada tonight. We would be just going into about the second period right now. But I hope you enjoy the night off because guess what? We got a long couple of weeks of hockey left here. About a week and a half or 3 weeks by the time the Oilers get back to action on, what is it, Tuesday, I believe. Tuesday, 5th, 6th, 7th. We're back to action on the Tuesday. 3 weeks. Deadline's on the 3rd. That's what I've got going on March 3rd. I was trying to figure out what I got going on March 3rd because I was planning on doing something. We got the NHL trade deadline live right here on Dolynny TV March 3rd. Dave booked off from work already. Don't mind me. And of course, Old Dominion in Calgary that night to wrap it all up. Let's go. You know what? Work hard, play hard. Am I right, my friends? I am right. I don't need you to answer that one. And secondary to that, friends, is then we got the rush through March. We got the rush into the 2 weeks in April, and then, oh boy, giddy up. It's going to be the same old fun it was last spring. Whether the Oilers achieve the ultimate goal or not, playoff hockey in Edmonton, there ain't nothing like it in the NHL, and I'm looking forward to this year. This year, I'm going to be there. This is not a matter of talking big game. I'm there no matter what, because I have the formula to get there. Friends, I'm taking up too much of your Saturday night. If you're still watching 14 minutes into this video, I am so sorry. Get going, get to getting gone, and I will catch you in the next one.